Speaking on the topic of gun violence as an important public health issue contributing substantially to premature death and disability of children is OHSU Assistant Professor of Pediatrics within the Division of Hematology and Oncology, Dr. Christina Haley. Dr. Haley.
I'm thankful for this beautiful day so that this gathering can be outdoors where our voices can be heard, our faces can be seen, and our spirits can be felt by those gathered here and those who are passing through. Good morning. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Christina Haley and I'm a pediatric hematologist oncologist. This is an unfamiliar setting for me. The classroom, the lecture hall, the patient room are where I usually speak. But there is an urgency, a call to action, a necessity to get uncomfortable, to use our voices that are strong and sure and grounded in data, information, knowledge, compassion, and knowing. So here we go. In my practice, I work in a multidisciplinary clinic twice monthly where we care for adolescent women with bleeding and clotting disorders. Of the patients we see in our clinic, almost half of our patients miss school at least one day a month due to heavy menstrual bleeding or due to pain associated with their periods. We find this appalling. Children, teens, should be in school, except for today. They should walk out every day possible to learn, to be informed, to socialize, to communicate, to question, to participate, to graduate. So we take a significant portion of our time in clinic to figure out how to get them to school more. We give them medications to control their periods, iron to treat the iron deficiency that had caused them to be fatigued and inattentive, and notes to give them unrestricted access to the bathroom. We have made school attendance a priority for our patients. About 1 week after the mass shooting at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, I was in clinic seeing a teenage girl with heavy periods who was there to receive IV iron. An IV was placed and the iron was started. I went back to check in on her as the iron was infusing, and while I was there, her phone beeped. It was a text message letting her know that her high school was on lockdown due to the report of a student with a gun. I watched on as she texted friends to inquire about the event and their safety, and in that moment I had this sinking feeling. I said to her mom, "I am so glad she is here. I am so glad she came to get iron today." And in that moment I had that sinking feeling that every time I see a patient, I inquire about their school attendance and do everything possible to make sure they go to school as much as possible. But while watching my teenage patient check in with all of her friends as they were on lockdown, I thought, I can't send these children to school. I should give them all IV iron. They should be all here, every day, all day. And if they aren't here, maybe I can write a note to the school, like the notes I write to indicate what sports are safe or to give a patient access to the bathroom. Might be something like this. To whom it may concern, this child is precious. Please keep them safe at all times. Please limit the number of times they are terrified and panicked. Please don't let an active shooter into the school. It's not good for the child's health. Please call me with questions. Sincerely, Christina Haley. I thought, can I write this letter for every patient I see, and then maybe ask my colleagues to write the same one, and we could just demand that our children are safe, because the doctor said so. While writing a letter seemed like a good way to communicate my exacerbation, it did not ultimately seem like the way to make things safer for the kids. After all, it's not the schools that are unsafe, it's that we have inadequate laws for gun safety, and gun violence isn't just a school problem. As the news came in that the lockdown was a false alarm and that my patients' friends were safe, I was grateful and angry. Grateful that they were safe, and angry that there was the possibility that they weren't. I started thinking about all the things we do in pediatrics to keep children safe, to give them the best chance of growing up and becoming the best versions of themselves. We start this at birth and continue it until they transition, with us holding their hands, to adulthood. We give them vitamin K. We screen them for congenital heart disease. We tell their parents about safe sleep practices. We teach their parents about how to install car seats. We check in regarding safe sleep and car seats at all well-child visits. We give vaccines. We give vaccines. We give vaccines. We assess growth and development and provide early interventions if milestones aren't being met. We discuss choking hazards. We screen for postpartum depression. We counsel about keeping medications out of reach to prevent accidental ingestion. We counsel regarding healthy eating habits and exercise. We discuss school challenges. We screen for domestic abuse. We screen for substance abuse. We discuss use of helmets. We recommend sunscreen use or sun avoidance. We screen for anemia. We screen for lead exposure. We give vaccines. We give vaccines. We give vaccines. We, the generally congenial pediatricians, are watching out for and trying to prevent harm to our patients from the first moment we meet them. It seems only natural that we should start intervening to ensure that they are safe from gun violence, from the violence of guns and mass shootings, from the violence of guns and domestic disputes, from the violence of guns and accidental shootings. We can keep being congenial, but it's time for us to stomp our feet a bit, to advocate strongly, and to demand safety. Statistics from the Brady Campaign to Prevent Gun Violence tell us that every day, 46 children and teens are shot in murders, assaults, suicides and suicide attempts, unintentional shootings, and police intervention. Every day, 7 children and teens die from gun violence. 4 are murdered and 3 die from suicide. And in America, 1 out of 3 homes with kids have guns, and nearly 1.7 million children live in a home with an unlocked, loaded gun. This is not safety. Every day, 7 children die from gun violence. That is 7 children who could have changed the world who don't get a chance to. And that is heartbreaking. And that demands revolutionary change. As I care for children each day, treating their anemia, their bleeding disorders, their cancers, I think there's enough hard stuff in this world that is not preventable. Gun violence, though, is preventable, and we must turn our full attention to this preventable, awful thing that is harming our children and our communities. There is momentum, there is a surge of energy coming from the children. They are demanding, they are pleading that we actually make things safer, that gun safety becomes an obvious priority on the list of things we do to keep children safe. And so we will listen, we will act, we will change. We will get out and vote. Get your friends out and vote, get your moms, your dads, your grandmas, your grandpas,